It's rare to come across a movie that just fills you with such joy, but I'm happy to say that this movie does that. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On stars Jenny Slate as a mollusk named Marcel. And if you don't know, this is based off of a viral kind of short film that was posted onto YouTube almost a decade ago from Jenny Slate and her then husband, who is also the writer and director of this movie, Dean Fletcher Camp. And this is a feature adaptation of that animated short film interviewing a mollusk named Marcel. Now, going into this movie, I really had no knowledge as to who even Marcel was. Then I saw the trailer and I just saw that it looked really cute. Then I did more research and found out this is actually based off the short film. And it kind of took the internet by storm just about 10 years ago. But since I had the opportunity to see this early at a film festival, I figured I would go check it out and give a review for you guys. And this movie is just so cute. Something that I was pretty amazed by with this movie is how well it tackles both emotion and drama, but also comedy. From the opening shot, this movie is just hilarious. Joke after joke, this movie had me as well as my entire audience just erupting with laughter. The writing is just so clever and unique, and you'll see a bunch of jokes in the trailers, and there are even more jokes in the movie itself that are just laugh out loud funny moments. But like I said, it tackles both these very dark moments but with a great sense of comedy, and the dark moments are really deep. It juggles these two tones fairly well. The movie is a look at grief and loss and finding yourself and finding your family. Because really this movie is about Marcel, who is this little mollusk that doesn't know anything about his family, and he wants to learn more about where he came from. And he uses the power of the internet to kind of do that and figure out where he came from. It's a movie that just kind of has this sense of innocence. And by that I mean Marcel is just such an innocent character. It's not the smartest little character. I mean, you can compare this to like a little 5-year-old. Marcel has these very big ideas, and because he hasn't really been out in the world, he kind of just has that sense of innocence that really anyone would have if they haven't been explored or introduced to what the outside world looks like. The movie is very calm, it's very subtle, and just kind of a meditation almost. In between those moments of laughter, it's a very slow moving movie. It's almost a movie that you can fall asleep to, which in different senses can be a good or bad thing. But I just felt so relaxed watching it, and it almost gave me this sense of clarity. I came out of it feeling like I could tackle the world. Like I mentioned, it's a very sad movie. It's not necessarily an uplifter. Yes, you have those very funny moments, but I mean, like I said, this is dark. This movie goes to some pretty dark places, especially for a PG movie. But it tackles so many things that it's almost a refresher of just how everyone can just look at their lives and look at what we're grateful for. I just keep going back to the fact that the depth that this movie has within the writing and the storytelling is just deep. One thing I haven't even talked about yet, but actually Jenny Slate was at the screening of this movie. She was a very kind person. She answered everyone's questions, and she just seemed like she was very passionate about this story. And she mentioned that she's been trying to make this movie for 10 plus years now. He really got that short film out there just to see where it would go, and now they're being distributed by A24, one of the more up-and-comer studios of today. Kind of like this big underdog story, and just her answering all the questions about filmmaking. It was really insightful. But her as Marcel, her voice acting, it just gives the character so much life. The voice of Marcel is very distinct, and I thought it was one of those things that they changed in the editing room, and they actually just like messed with the sound. But it's actually her very own voice that she can make from her body. And again, she just captures that childlike innocence that Marcel as a character desperately needs. And of course, that also benefits the overall story. I don't think this movie is necessarily perfect. Like I said, it is a movie that you could get pretty kind of bored in at times. I think after the first 30 minutes, I had this feeling of, okay, where are we going now? When is the story going to start to kick in? And how much longer can this really go for? It really feels like it's stretching out that feature length kind of runtime. The story doesn't necessarily really pick up. It's just, again, more of a meditation, a very slow moving story. And I don't necessarily know how rewatchable this one will be because of the fact that it's very slow moving and just that kind of slow moving nature of it all, and because it is fairly heavy. That's kind of it for my critiques of the film. This might just be the most delightful movie of the year. It fills you with such joy and emotion and warmth. I think of this movie and I think of a fireplace. You're sitting in front of a fireplace And in relation, you're sitting in front of this movie and just feeling that warmth, which that's kind of a weird comparison looking at it now, but again, the movie is also very sad and not afraid to get deep with you. Marcel is such a funny, unique character. I haven't even touched on the fact that the movie is very well made. There's some excellent sound design. You can feel like you are Marcel. You're like this big. What's the sound of the wind, or just like little sounds that you might not necessarily pick up as just this big person, but Marcel, who's very minuscule, little stuff that he would pick up. It's a very well-made film. And this is just a movie that I highly recommend you seek out. I feel like it's gonna go pretty underseen, but I hope this review can let you know about it. I'm assuming a lot of you haven't heard of it. So when this movie gets released, I know it's being limited released in late June. But whenever it does get the wide release, please do yourself a favor and check this one out. It is so awesome. I'm gonna give Marcel the Shell with Shoes On a B+. Such a sweet movie, man. Do yourself a favor and check this one out. Thank you so much for watching this review, and if you did enjoy it, consider giving it a like as well as subscribing and hitting that notification bell to get notified whenever new videos like this go live. As always, look forward to more videos coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.